Councillor Michelle. Is that meeting is now streamed live. Okay, we'll now shift over to Councillor Melba.
Yeah, I think it's certainly is a trust issue for years and years based on our history of the past concerning our treatment in residential schools, for example. And she mentioned overcrowding. You know, right now, I'd be very concerned because we wish that our own people would take our children in concerning child welfare. And when we have different standards of care, that's a concern for many of our people, that they cannot take their own children in as a result of the standards that are in place. So that's just a few things. So, and Canada really hasn't treated us very well. And as you know, we're dealing with land claims right now. So it's a trust issue that they're aware of all the atrocities that have happened. So I certainly get concerned of the ongoing treatment and not understanding our needs. Thank you.
Sherry Lynn.
Martha Hazel.
Thank you. Thank you, Melba. I also now see a list of hands up again, so I will look to Councillor Sherry Lynn first, and I'll shift over to Councillor Hazel.
Yeah, I agree with what everybody's saying right now with this, and I have concerns also, so I'm not in favor with this also. That's all.
Thank you for your comments, Sherry Lynn. I'll now go over to Hazel.
Yeah, the comment with regard to defining the overcrowding and the numbers, like for like daycare and schools, etc. Well, they do know the nominal role for one school that is begging them for money to build a school after being in a just being passed around from one school to the next, and that none of them have been up to the standard that they would put a child in to learn. So I find it hard to be on par with the census anymore, because even though they know all of the numbers and the statistics, they still don't provide any help when it comes right down to the actual handing down the money, like to build a much needed school. So with that, I'm not gonna support this either. And I think that Six Nations really does need to do their own census and have their own numbers, and they don't need to pass on any too much information to Ottawa other than that they know the number of population for the count in Canada, if that means anything to us. Well, I'll just leave it there for now. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Hazel. Are there any further questions or comments from Council, from Melinda? Shift back to Nathan.
Yeah, just real quick too, I thought quickly as well, just in terms of this particular piece in process, my thought would be this should also go through ethics, research ethics, because regardless of what Canada is doing in terms of this piece, it still has to, and back to the jurisdictional thing, it still has to conform with the research ethics that we have already established within the community. So that's another reason if we needed another. So.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, Nathan. Any further questions or comments? By what I'm hearing and gathering, Melinda, it doesn't seem like a majority is going to be in favor of supporting at this time. But again, looking to any further questions or comments from any councillors that may have not had the opportunity to ask. Helen.
Yeah, the only concern I have is I think sometimes they use the numbers from the census, and it hurts us because, they might say, you often see that after the census is completed, you see reports in the newspapers about the census, and then They're giving all these reports about the number of Aboriginal people are going into post-secondary is this, the number of this and this, and you know darn well the numbers aren't right because not everybody does the census. They only take the numbers that are on the applications that they submit. So we're misrepresented a lot for a lot of things when the census data comes out to the public. That's the only concern I have. I mean, we've been saying for years we're going to do our own, but we never do. So, because I know I've read the census reports and I'm reading it and thinking we have more people than that need housing, and we have more of this, and we need more of this, but the figures ain't telling the truth. That's the part about the census. The figures are not telling the truth, but that's what they go by. So that's my concern.
Okay, thank you, Helen, for your comments. Looking to any further questions or comments at this time? Okay, seeing or hearing none then, I think just from the comments that have been shared, Melinda, again, going to retract back to, I don't feel our council is prepared to support this initiative at this time, and potentially we'll look to future or next steps and where we're going with this piece, specifically for Six Nations.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for their time, and it's very understandable. But thank you for allowing me to talk to you. Have a good evening and happy holidays. I'll see you all.
Thank you so much, Melinda. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Have a safe holiday.
You too.
Take care. Okay, Council, thank you. That'll shift us into our next agenda item. My apologies, I'm just bringing the agenda back up. Let's see. Okay, that being said, so we only had Melinda Commanda on for the delegation portion, which will lead us into the adoption of the General Council minutes of December 8th.
I'll move it, Sherilyn.
I'll second it, Audrey.
Okay, thank you, Sherilyn and Audrey. Are there any further questions or comments to the minutes? Again, just note that we are live on Facebook, trying to again engage with as many community members to join in on the discussion. The agenda is available for community members on our Facebook page as well, so you could follow along with the discussion. That being said, again, if there's no further questions or comments to the minutes, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Favor.
Favor.
Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, motion's carried. We'll now move in from recommendations from the Human Services Committee, which was deferred from the December 8th. General Council, recommendation 6A.
Chief?
Sure, go ahead, Shirley.
Shirley or Darren, are these supposed to be on or taken off the agenda?
They've been deferred, Sherilyn.
Okay.
We followed up with Zach and both with Lori as well. These items were, if you recall, deferred because they are encapsulated within the MOU, which was going to be brought at Human Services in January. It's not time sensitive, so it's been deferred.
So those are all deferred now? Okay, thank you.
Yes, yeah, all those three.
Oh, okay, my apologies. So that, Darren, you're referring to 6A, B, and C are all deferred to the new year?
Yes, Chief. There was a revised agenda just put out by Shirley just before the meeting, so you must not have got that revised agenda. But it was just decided, just determined right before the meeting.
Okay, my apologies for that. I'm still working on the last agenda. So that leads us in then to our scheduling. Am I correct on that piece?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. So scheduling, we'll need to look to general finance as we'll just be back in in the office on January 4th. So we'll look to reschedule finance. I know, Darren, just to touch on this piece, we did have, I believe we did have a plan to this piece.
Yes, yeah, we discussed it. I discussed with the finance team as well, and there's two options. We could look at the 11th, or we could just skip the 4th and go with the 18th. There's two options available to us.
Yeah. I just wonder, in a sense, if it would work to just continue with the 18th, just being as, you know, the 4th is when we're all back from holidays. I don't, obviously that was an issue with the team and not being able to prepare.
Chief?
Go ahead, Kiri.
That general finance, I see the week before it ends on the 15th. So 15th, 16th, 17th. So that's the 18th, the Monday. I thought we had talked about it being on the 11th. Or was that kind of just up in the area?
Yeah, I think we had a discussion around it, Kiri, but there was nothing set in concrete, which is why we're just bringing it back up for to have a concrete decision on whether we choose to have it on the 11th as well as the 18th, or if it, depending on the number of items for agenda purposes, it might be even sufficient to even only have our general finance on the 18th.
Yeah, I'm happy with the 18th.
Okay, is there any opposition to just having our general finance on the 18th for the new year? So that'll reschedule the 4th. Okay, hearing no opposition, then we'll move forward with general finance on January 18th. The next piece is in regards to the presentation on global solutions. I know Phil is on the line with us, but we just want to really, I know this is priority as well. I know there's multiple priorities, however, looking to dates to get this scheduled so that we can have a fulsome discussion on that piece. Wondering maybe in the 3rd or 4th week of January, if anyone has any proposed dates that they'd like to put forward. Even if we don't get to a date at this time, at least even if we could have an option of dates, so that we can even maybe do an email poll, because I know, again, our schedules are all filling up. So we just want to make sure that we, Nathan?
Yeah, how's the 19th for everyone?
I was going to suggest that week as well. Does the night on Tuesday, January 19th work for you, Phil?
Yes, it does.
Okay, let's, is there any opposition to January 19th for the presentation on the global solutions and further dialogue and discussion?
Chief?
Okay, hearing. Oh, sure, go ahead, Darren.
I just wanted to check in. I know Tammy's on the call too. We had looked at for an update from Blake's as well. So I'm just wondering if I think it was the 14th or 15th. So I'm just looking at the alignment of these meetings. Tammy, do you or is this also going to be the same meeting? I guess is my question.
The update from Blake's has been confirmed for the 14th, and it's scheduled right now from 9 until 1.
I'm wondering then, in a sense, just and to Darren's point, could we then maybe tack on the global solutions to that day in terms of a flow of conversation? Thoughts, questions? Nathan?
That might be a heavy day.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
I was thinking that too, to be honest. You know what? Let's continue with keeping that date for which we've already determined for Blake's to go through. So we'll leave that date, but I'm going to still go forward with Nathan's proposed date of January 19th. we'll say in the morning,
Sure.
9 a.m. start.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Counsel. And thank you, Phil.
Yep.
The next item then, so just to walk through the schedule. So again, this is our last General Council of 2020. Our offices are closed as of tomorrow at 2 o'clock. They then will be closed from the 24th and the 25th, as well as the 28th through to the 1st. And we'll be back in our office resumes at 8:30 a.m. on January 4th. Again, that being said, there is notifications on the landfill and all the hours to our crisis services and things like that. So those are all available within our social media platforms for any individuals who are interested in those. The number 8 item, Border Alliance. So this is, I know we've already, we've done our committees. In fact, I believe our first Environment Committee meeting is tomorrow, which is exciting as well. However, that being said, I do need to find a representative from Council to join me on the Border Alliance discussions. I know former Chief Ava Hill, as well as former Councillor Ray Miracle, took the lead on this file at the previous council. So we're just looking to pick up through Jan's office and myself. And I would really like some support to attend those meetings with me in the new year. So I'm looking to have a counselor's name to be identified.
I'll
Questions,
go on it.
comments?
If anybody else does, I will. I took it over after Ray.
Okay, perfect. Is there any opposition to Sherry Lynn joining? Okay, seeing or hearing none, thank you, Council. So Sherry Lynn, oh, sorry, Helen?
Did they want more than one sitting there?
Well,
Sherry Lynn?
well, maybe what we can do, like our other committees, is have our alternate in the case of one can't go, but to keep all abreast. So Helen, do you have an interest?
Yeah, because I went to one before, me and Sherry Lynn and Ava. So yeah, I have an interest.
Okay, so
I can be there all
even, to be honest, even if there's opportunity for us to all go, I don't think there's really a sticking point on the number of. So in case you are both available and interested, I'm sure you can also as well attend. Okay, so we'll go with Councilors Sherry Lynn and Helen, as well as myself, to start in set up meetings with Jan in her office and furthering this file. Is there any further questions or comments? Okay, seeing or hearing none, we don't necessarily need a motion for that. I just needed to identify names, so thank you for that, Council. That's, again, it was a very short agenda. However, I do just want to provide a quick update, not necessarily looking into further deliberation. I just want to provide an update as to some of the, I guess, more or less outcomes of today's meeting that occurred. So we met at the the Onondaga dining hall. A delegation from our council, as well as a delegation from the Haudenosaunee Confederacy Chiefs Council, as well as a delegation from the Land Defenders. And all in all, it was a good meeting, very optimistic, very hopeful. Safety remained the top priority of the discussion. As we maneuvered through, we realize and understand that, again, this is an opportunity for our community to come together and to figure out what that looks like in the spirit of unity. And so, it was, to me, it was a very positive meeting. We know that there's many issues, and we know and have to understand the realities of this isn't going to be necessarily covered or fixed overnight per se. However, if we continue to make plans and to set dates, we did come up with a next meeting date, which is going to occur on Monday, December 28th at 1 o'clock again. We're still working out those details as to how to further plans, creation of plans, implementation of plans, again, to rectify the land back lane or the Mackenzie Meadows situation happening. So we'll continue to do that work. There is some items that we need to further discuss as well. And I think the most important piece is that, again, the safety, the health and safety of everybody was at the priority of the discussion. And so we need to really start to strategize even further as we prepare to move into potential discussions with Canada and Ontario. As some may know, we did receive a letter back in August from Minister Carolyn Bennett's office, looking to setting up what that table could look like. Again, we really need to reach out to community and really get back, the silent majority's feedback as well. Every voice truly matters. And this is such a huge topic within community that we need to make sure that our communication strategy and protocols are in place so that we, again, are informing and engaging and really capturing voices of where we need to go as a community in terms of the bigger picture. But all in all, I thought it was a very respectful and positive meeting. Again, we did look to next steps in terms of a next meeting date, which again is another positive step forward. We do have some plans to make in regards to statements that are being forthcoming. And so those items, there's a lot of things to do amidst 2 days before Christmas. But again, we are working diligently and around the clock to, again, come out with a peaceful resolution to this entire situation. So I just thought I'd provide a quick update on that as well. There was a small delegation from our council who attended. Part of that delegation included councillors Audrey Paulus Bombury, Councillor Michelle Bombury, as well as Councillor Melba Thomas, including myself, and as well as our Lands and Resources Phil Montour. So that was the delegation that was from our council that had attended this meeting this afternoon. Again, just wanted to provide that quick update. There is more. It's again a working as we move forward towards the next steps. There is a lot of work to do. But again, we need to engage community and we need to hear back from all voices. And so that's something that, again, needs to be on the radar as to how we're going to be collecting the tools we're going to use to help facilitate that engagement, much like what we're doing now in terms of live streaming our meetings. I think it's an important piece of communication that we're doing. And again, this is in the spirit of openness, transparency, and accountability, and really to get further feedback from community. So I don't know if there's any questions or comments. I do want to get into further deliberation, but I just thought I'd provide that update for now. I do want to also just really quickly, while we're in the open session, also provide a quick update. As you know, what's occurring with the latest COVID-19 in the province-wide lockdown that is set to take place as of December 26th. We are also going to be making announcements forthcoming tomorrow. I will be joining CKRZ on the radio as well as Jacasa to make that formal announcement as to where that leaves us and what that means for us here in Six Nations. So I just thought I would also provide that update, that stay tuned till tomorrow to further hear our announcement and where we're going in regards to our recovery framework. Other than that, Council, that's all I have on my agenda. Is there anything further, any further questions or comments, Michelle?
So thanks for that update. No, just before we sign off of the open, I just wanted to send a reminder of the Zoom for the Iroquois Lodge on Christmas Day. I know that came out. Chief Hill, do you have more information on that? Just so our community can actually see the residents.
Yeah, so I actually believe that our communications team, and I have to follow up on this piece, but we do want to get to the lodge. I actually had to take a COVID test because I'm going to be joining the residents Christmas morning to help give out some gifts. So that's going to be an exciting time. So, but I had to make sure I'm all clear to enter the building. So just waiting for those. But yes, Michelle, I'll look to providing that and get that out on our social media platforms so that community can also get involved.
Sherry Lynn.
Okay, that being said, is there any further
Sure.
questions or comments? I see Councillor Sherry Lynn and then Councillor Helen.
Since we're on Facebook now and everybody can see us, maybe in the new year, can we get the Cannabis Commission to do an update again for the community? So everybody will know what's going on and what's happening. Because
100%.
since we're on Facebook now, thank you.
Yeah, I agree, Sherilyn. I think it's good, and we'll look to further schedule that at our upcoming General Council meeting. Helen?
Yeah, I just wondered who the HCC reps were at the meeting today.
So they had in attendance was Alan McNaughton, Toby Williams, Colin Martin, Roger Silversmith, Cleve Thomas, as well as I believe Gary Johnson.
Can I say Alan McNaughton too?
Yeah, I that was the first name I mentioned. Thank you, Melba.
Okay.
And from the land defenders was Skylar Williams, Tawny Williams, Courtney Sky, as well as Todd Williams.
Can I also add, we had one clan mother there.
Yes, sorry, my apologies. Thank you for that addition, Melba. That also too, I just want to, in the spirit of Sherry Lynn's comments of having our meetings now live. So again, further engagement. We're gonna also, depending on where we're at with the COVID-19 response, as you know, the discussion around schools, that's going to be assessed, given what's happening at that time. So again, the further assessment will happen. I believe it was scheduled for the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, to come back in further deliberation for the February 1st date. So there'll be more information on that, as well as when we return back in person to the chambers, that this will also continue. Our chambers, our office has been renovated. The chambers have been renovated to, again, give it a little bit of a modern look, as well as inclusive to further cameras, and so that we could live stream our meetings in person in the chambers as well when we meet back in person. So just want to make that note for community. That being said, is there any further questions or comments from any councilors?
Mark, it's Hazel.
I do. Oh, okay. I'll be next.
Sure.
Mark.
Sure. Go ahead. I'll go with Hazel and then Melba.
Mark, on the table for the scheduling, if you'll notice at the bottom it's got the 23rd political liaison, and that's for January 2021, and in the calendar, the 23rd is on a Saturday. And then the 24th is, it's got a scheduled community standards general council, which is on a Sunday.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that correction, Hazel. It just seems like there's just a little glitch in the numbers. So it's going to shift over to the last Monday of political liaison, and then to our general council as well. So it looks like it just noted a correction that needed to be made. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Melba and then Michelle.
Yes, will you be discussing the Premier's direction concerning shutdown and how it relates to Six Nations?
I'm not sure if you heard, Melba, I made an update on that piece. We will be making our formal announcement tomorrow via the radio stations.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. Thank you.
Oh, my apologies. No problem. Michelle?
And just to clarify who was at the meeting, Kervin Williams and Bill Williams were also there. So I just want to ensure that everybody was noted.
Thank you for that addition, Michelle. Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, that being said then, I just want to take this opportunity to wish our community and everyone a very Merry Christmas and a safe holiday season, I know it's not the most ideal holiday season with COVID times. However, we need to remain very vigilant in our efforts and our measures that are in place to continue protecting our people as we move forward and into the new year. Again, please stay informed on our announcement tomorrow regarding our recovery response framework and exactly to Malba's point of what that means here in Six Nations for the Premier's lockdown, the province-wide lockdown. So that all that information will be forthcoming tomorrow, and I will make an announcement via the radio stations on that piece specifically. So thank you again for joining us this evening, and again, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see each other in 2021. That being said, can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn? Moved by Michelle, second by Audrey. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor, motion's carried. Thank you, Council, and thank you to our community for joining us.